there is a different of point of views of consulting firms. All the routes would goes at the end we wish, but what is determined for us as the engineering authority is the financial cost. This would take a longer period, but what is determined for us is the cost. But the price would have been doubled to reach the triple or four times. We are executing the missions with the minimum expenditures, and we've already said this presenting Abu Qir Road, where it is acceptable for the landslide, but it's not the difference for us. It is in order to have a lower expenditure to accept it for a longer period. As said by General Kamel, it is accepted to wait for 2 years, and then we'll make the linkage layers for the people to work freely and to modify the route to be completed. Mostly we'll be saving the double of its price for a period of nearly 2 years. All the measures will continue for 2 to 3 years without any problems to have us self-assured for the shape of the roads. Dr. Hassan is available. He's a consultant, yes? Go ahead, please. In the name of Allah. The style we've used, as pointed out by General Ihab, the cost. All the routes are sound, given the same goal. The soil, as said by Dr. Abdesalam, its thickness of 18 meters and the landslide is 1 meter. If we left it alongside of the edge of the road, we'll be having irregular road. The point is to get rid of such a problem as soon as possible, which is the time and the period of construction that the machinery can modify as working. In order to do that, we have two manners, is the sand poles or the geotic style tape with the type of soil have problems due to the pressure would create some blockages of 3 to 4 millimeters of thickness. That was the reason to be directed to the type of the sand poles. Therefore, we've taken this direction to make sand poles and monitor their landsliding and to modify their designing upon working in order to reach of 70% of landslide at the time of construction, to get rid of a great amount of landslide, to have 20 centimeters of landslide to be remain upon the maintenance. Thank you. I preferred the discussion to be recorded upon us, and of course the engineering point of view I cannot actually discuss it, Dr. Mustafa, and of course each one would defend their point of view, and of course Kamel would say the tapes. Kamel, when I lifted this subject for two things, two reasons: the financial expenditures and cost, and to make the tapes under a great amount of uploading, to take 1 or 2 years, imagine this water, and I work for 3 lanes for 2 to 3 years to build the road or its axis, or to put the stones of a great expensive. I agree this idea. Be aware, we bring in men to work with us and we put our trust in them of projects that cost tens of billions of Egyptian pound and maybe hundreds of billions. I say this for all of us to clarify the issue. It is rarely for the people to achieve what we've done. I follow up my needs, and IHAP, anything to be done, implemented in the Egyptian state, I review as soon as possible, as much as possible. And if I couldn't do this, I get the specials concerned bodies. As I said, in such access that the landslide is expected and it is natural, but it's according to its percentage. But in all cases, will stand on one layer and then to continue later on 1 year to 2 years to come. We are talking about of this area that has the delta. We're talking about 150 billion Egyptian pound. Am I right, IHAP? Did we have this before, making new delta, entering Al-Alamin for 7 to 8 lanes, as well as Al-Daba road that will cover the new delta, and it's planning for the 1.5 million Fidan. So in order to avoid what we had throughout at least the last 100 years, to make the agriculture and then houses to be built upon, with making everything as a whole. Alexandria port was described as an old one. We are changing the reality of Alexandria. If we're talking about eastern and western hours and completing Al-Mahmudiyya till its end, which is about 50 kilometers in addition, where, I'm sorry to say, the volume of trespassing at the access lakes, people put at the campus of the lake of thousands of housing to compensate of 2 billion Egyptian pound. Dr. Mustafa, Mr. Premier, we're pumping 2 billion Egyptian pound to evacuate the buildings. I don't know when we're done, but they were there. So in order to make the lake road is acceptable, starting from Alexandria till Al-Bahira of 75 kilometers, the volume of expenditures to compensate for these people that are very huge. It is importantly to look at how our homeland needed effort and a follow-up. If we talk about Al-Bahira or King Mario to be developed as a whole, then the relevant body in the government to be aware, because when I was coming, I looked at the fish farming to be overloaded. This is not going to be happen. Therefore, there will be coincidence and a common understanding of the base we are working upon. What we are talking today, that we return everything to its origin. So I say, for example, the governor of Alexandria or Al-Bahira or other governor to review the construction planning with the cooperation of the Ministry of Housing, that had the ability to give the required expertise to reorganize the lands. When I was coming, looking at the construction axis and the extension in the direction of Al Main, I did not felt that the hand of the state in place of planning and the organization. I did not mean that I say that someone is underachiever, but we are in need to criticize for the people without any organization or any planning for a state that is working, that has a great impact of its work. I see this because the path and the process we've seen, the country worked hard as officials. I'm not talking about myself or the current cabinet or the last one, but throughout the past years. Whereas I see something difficult. Some people imagine that on troubleshooting problems, not to propose problems that they never believe that has solved things. Talking about 50 kilometers of surface planning, I say that that it requires 150 billion Egyptian pound. By the way, all the sectors of the state are the same, that require the same, and the decent life isn't away from that. But we are talking about when I came in, or I was coming to look at the western of Al-Tamir axis, or the construction axis, I found the people reluctant to do the uploading into the lake, and of course the fishery farming to be organized. It's not you, Dr. Hab, alone. It is the whole state apparatus, the governorate, the agriculture, the irrigation, as I said to Dr. Mustawa, to be reviewed by their relevant body in order to the leadership to shoulder the responsibility of such an issue. But as I said this before, please, maybe the Ministry of Defense provide planes to review your construction and the reality. We are here to work to change the status of our homeland. And today, as said by General Kamil, said that the road requires 3 years. Do I taught the people and entering the port from Alexandria, its mobilization along the time on a road of 3 lanes only? No, it is a must to work in it. Let's go, by all means, in order to say that to have 9 lanes, 3, 4 added to 6 others, to achieve, not for the port, but for the people of Alexandria, something good in their mobility in order to reach Burj Al Arab. While we are saying this, that all roads existed in the whole area to be improved. But what about the cost? How much? Ministry of Transportation, the most ministry that took allocations. Each sector require, and each sector we enter will find that require the same, whether they are irrigation, health, in order to do the set of roads. We're talking about huge money to be postponed for 4 to 5 years. No, right away to be work to be done comprehensively in order to solve the problems of the whole area. The development of 14 million cubic meters of execution percentage of 60%, the rate of working will reach 65,000 cubic meters a day of an average 1600 trip, and that was a great challenge to save the stone resources. The provision of 300,000 cubic meters of quantity